iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. I know I haven't been here for a couple of days, so I have a lot of podcast previews to cover. I'm going to try to get 3 in one shot. I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it right now. All right? So let's start with the Philadelphia Phillies. A couple of guys I really want to look at here. Jorge Alfaro, really good power, but can hurt your batting average. But when you're in a draft and you're in a deep league and you're looking for a guy who can get you a couple of home runs late in the draft, this is the kind of guy that can do that. So when I look at Alfaro, I look at a guy that can get you 16, 17, 18 home runs. Nothing wrong with that. We could absolutely use that. And I think he could be your second catcher for like $2 or $3. So keep your eye on him. I think he's a really good choice. Carlos Santana came over in the offseason, and I really wondered why this happened. And I'm going to raise a couple of things here. First of all, I just never thought it was a good signing because you had Rhys Hoskins who could play first base. And when you had Rhys Hoskins at first base, you had Herrera and Nick Williams and Alter and guys who could play. And the outfield. Now Santana has to play at first base because he's not much of an outfielder. Hoskins goes to the outfield. Herrera's in the outfield, but Alter becomes like the fourth guy. And I think Alter could be playing every day. So I know that the Phillies have more depth than they've had in the past, but I'm not sure this helps the team. As for Santana, I'm okay with him. He's more of a name for me than he's a guy that I trust. But, can I blame you for picking him up? No, he's just not a guy that I look for. At second base, I want you to remember the name Scott Kingery. This guy is a beast. And I'm talking beast. So when you look at his numbers, okay? So this is a guy who can go 20-20 at second base, but they're not going to bring him up probably till the end of April. Cesar Hernandez is going to start the season. Now, Hernandez can play short if J.P. Crawford sucks. He can play third if they move Franco. They can do things with Hernandez. So, Kingery's playing. Kid yourself not. Kingery's playing. It just might be right away like Ronald Acuna. Okay? At shortstop, the aforementioned J.P. Crawford, he's okay. I think this guy could one day be a good player. I just worry if he's ever going to hit for a high average. He's not really a stolen base guy. He's not really a power guy. People have been talking about him as one of the top prospects. I just don't see it yet. I'm not on board. In a dynasty league, so be it, but he's not my guy. Maikel Franco has been a major disappointment to me. The batting average stinks. He just is a hacker at the plate. I'm not a big fan there. So if the Phillies traded him, I'd be quite all right with that. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'd be fine with that. I am a huge fan of Rhys Hoskins. Huge. I can't even begin to tell you. I love a guy who can take a walk. I love his power. There's nothing I don't like about his game. You want to take him in the third round of a draft, you have my absolute blessing. I don't think it's too soon. How about that? I don't think it's too soon if you do that. Odubel Herrera is a knucklehead of epic proportions. Okay? This guy is a knucklehead. But he's a pretty good player. The problem is that I think he fell in love with the home run, and he's not a home run hitter. This is a doubles gap hitter. This is not a home run hitter, and that's his biggest problem. So he has to concentrate on hitting the ball in the gaps, playing defense, which he doesn't often do because he takes very bad reads on balls, and stealing bases. If he's going to go for home runs, you don't need him. Get him out. Right? I'd much rather have Nick Williams and Aaron Alter. But Herrera does have ability, so keep your eye on him. As I mentioned about Nick Williams and Alter, putting these guys together may make one really good player. I think between the two of them, they could get about 30 home runs, 110 RBIs, 110 runs scored. Williams playing mostly against right-handed pitchers and Alter playing against lefties. I think you're going to see a straight platoon unless there's an injury. If there's injury, one of these guys will get an opportunity, and then it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. With the pitching, there's only two guys. I'll give you three guys. Well, maybe four. Maybe five. Whatever. We'll figure it out. All right, closer is Hector Neris. I'm not a big Hector Neris fan. Excuse me. but he does seem to get the job done. What I think is interesting with Neris is that he can pitch more than one inning at a time, and the Phillies may need to use that. I don't like Pat Neshek. I don't like Tommy Hunter. These are guys I don't really trust. They've been good in the past, but I don't trust them. The problem is that their starting pitching is good, but not great. Jake Arrieta, I question something. If he was that good, why didn't the Cubs re-sign him? He got a boatload of cash from the Phillies, who I think overpaid him. I think this guy's arrow is on the way down. I'm worried about him. I love Aaron Nola. Love Aaron Nola. And I think he could be the next Cy Young candidate, not named Kershaw or Scherzer. Will it happen? I don't know, but he's capable of it. Keep your eye on Vince Velasquez, who I've always liked, and I think he's been a dominant arm. But this is a guy who can never stay healthy. How many starts is he going to get this season? I don't know. It's not going to be 20. But maybe if you can get 10 or 12 good starts, you could get lucky. I asked Adam Ronis who he liked on the Phillies staff. He said Nick Pivetta, who strikes out a lot of guys, which is true. Pivetta had 140 strikeouts in 133 innings last year. That's a good sign, but man, he let up a lot of home runs. So I just don't know how much I can trust him except in an NL-only league. So there you have the Phillies, and now it's time to move on to the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's right, the Pittsburgh Pirates. There are a lot of guys here that I like. I'm a big Josh Bell kind of guy. I am. I think people overlook Josh Bell. They see Josh Bell and they remember the Josh Bell. Oh, he doesn't have much power. He had pretty much a lot of power to me. 26 home runs and 90 RBIs last year. I think this is the year that Josh Bell gets 30 and 100. I do. I think he takes the next step up. What does he have to do that? 4 more home runs? That's not a lot. It's 1 a month. I think he can get 1 a month. So I think people are overlooking Josh Bell. You know, they're looking at Eric. I'll take Josh Bell over Eric Hosmer any day of the week. Any day of the week. And I think that's a very interesting thing to do. And I'm going to do it later with another position. But let's do it now. I look at players, and so I'm going to take Hosmer and Bell. Maybe Hosmer hits 290. So Bell hits 275. Hosmer is going to hit about 22 home runs. I say Bell hits 25. Hosmer is going to hit maybe 90, 100 RBIs. I say Bell does the same. I think Hosmer is going to score about 80, 90 runs, and I think Josh Bell will score 80. And I think stolen bases, they both kind of suck. Hosmer is going to go about 4 rounds earlier than Josh Bell, and I'll take Josh Bell out any day of the week. So look at that. Look at the differentiation. I think that will help you. I do like Josh Harrison. I think Josh Harrison's an interesting player. Never seems to be able to get 600 at-bats. But what if he could? He can steal. Can hit. Good player. Let's just see him stay healthy. Keep your eye on Colin Moran. I think this guy is a very, very sneaky player who came over in the Cole deal with the Astros. Is he a star? Probably not. Is he better than David Freese? You bet your life on it. This guy can hit. And he's not a great hitter, but I think if he can go, 280 with about 15 home runs and 70 RBIs, I think the Pirates would be ecstatic. I think it's the outfield where the Pirates shine. Starling Marte killed most people last year. The PEDs killed most people last year. 80-game suspension. But this is a guy that can go 20 home runs and 40 stolen bases if he's there. Okay? Why couldn't he? He's capable of that. How about Gregory Polanco? This is a guy who was injured like 3 or 4 times last year. In the offseason, got back with his old personal trainer, and now he's feeling better than ever, and the guy's going to have a rebound season. I really like him to be a comeback player of the year candidate. And how about Corey Dickerson? This is a guy, do you remember how long ago Corey Dickerson was a 3rd-round pick when he was with the Rockies? In 2014, this guy could rake. 436 at-bats, he had 24 home runs and hit 312. He was going in the 3rd round of drafts. Let's not forget how good he was. He's a really good player. So I like their outfield. I like the first baseman. I like the second baseman. I like the third baseman. I like the Pirates here. Pitching, I love Felipe Rivero. He's one of my favorite closers because I think he's going to keep the job. I do. Strikes out a ton of guys. Doesn't let up many home runs. Very hard to hit. I love Jameson Taillon. By the way, can we just stop for a second and just pay all our respects to Jameson Taillon, who pitched last year after having testicular cancer? Just even saying those words, I'm like, who wants to deal with that? God bless that kid. I'm not an Ivan Nova guy. I like Joe Musgrove, though. Came over in that Jarrett Cole deal. Think he could be an interesting player. What about Trevor Williams, who never looks good but always seems to have a good outing every now and then? Keep your eye on him. Now, they added guys in the bullpen. I don't know whether Kyle Crick and any of these guys are going to be special. They just need to get the ball to Felipe Rivero. That's how they're going to have to figure this out. I don't know how they do that, but they need to figure it out. I like Taillon. I like Rivero. I will be in on Musgrove. I will be in a little bit on Musgrove as well. But I do like this offense in Pittsburgh. This is a very underrated offense in Pittsburgh. Keep your eyes on these players. I think they can surprise. Finally, I'm going to cover the San Diego Padres. All right? It's amazing because, by the way, baseball starts next Thursday. That's why, because I've missed a couple of teams. I got to get them all in today. So I absolutely have to do this for you guys. Austin Hedges, big fan. He's in that Jorge Alfaro thing to me. This guy can hit. His average is always going to be a little crappy, but he can hit 20 home runs. And when you're late in a draft and you're looking for 20 home runs and you need to find a catcher, this guy, boom, this is one of my favorite guys at the end of a draft. Really like him this year. Keep your eyes on him. Eric Hosmer, I'm going to go talk about Hosmer and I'm going to talk about Will Myers together again, okay? So, I didn't really understand getting Hosmer because you had Myers. So let me make this, I'm going to talk psychologically for a second here because I am a doctor, right? You're Will Myers. You're in the outfield. You make a bad play in the ball. It's terrible. You cause your team an error. You let up a run. You're losing the game. Now you got to go to hit. What are you thinking about? The error you just made. It's true. Baseball players think about what they've done. That's why it's such a hard sport. Because it's you. I mean, we've watched Bull Durham 1,000 times. You're thinking about a million things. And I just didn't understand why the Padres needed to put Will Myers in the outfield. I think first base is a lot safer for him. I know getting Hosmer is a good thing. Hosmer's not a great hitter. He's a very solid hitter. Not a big power hitter, but he should go 20 and 100. He should go 20 and 100 for the Padres. But was I think Will Myers, keeping him where he was, would have been better. Personally. That's what I would have done. I still will draft Hosmer. I still will draft Myers. I just have a little trepidation about both of them. Okay, third base, Headley, Spangenberg, Freddie Galvis. These guys are all bums. I'm not interested in any of them. Absolutely not. I am interested in Manuel Margot. I really, really like this guy. And I'm going to do the same thing for you here as I did for you before with Hosmer and Bell. Okay? I'm going to give you an outfielder. Outfielder number 1 is going to hit 275, maybe 280, 20 home runs, maybe 80 RBIs, 90 runs scored, and 30 stolen bases. Okay? You know who that was? Byron Buxton. You know what Margot can do? 275, 18 home runs, 70 RBIs, 80 runs scored, and 30 stolen bases. You're going to get Margot in round 8 or 9. You're going to get Buxton in round 3 or 4. Isn't that crazy? So what I tend to do is look at value of players. I can get maybe 85% of Buxton's numbers with Margot and get Margot much later, therefore making him more valuable to me. That's how you win. You win by getting value from places you can't. I can't get Gary Sanchez value. But Margot is Buxton. Just not as good. See what I'm saying? I get Sanchez Margot, I'm close. You get Jonathan Lucroy Buxton, I'm better than you. See where I'm going with that? I also want to talk about Hunter Renfroe, who I really think has the ability to hit home runs. Not a great average hitter, but this guy can hit home runs. Late in your draft, you're looking for a guy to hit 20 home runs. Look for Hunter Renfroe. He's interesting to me. Now also, the Padres have maybe the best prospect in the game. Fernando Tatis Jr., this guy can rake. He raked in spring training this year. This guy's like 19 years old. Get him in dynasty leagues now. It will be too late when he comes up. Too late. Got to be a year ahead. Most people probably already have him, but you got to get him now. All right, I'm going to give you a couple of pitchers here. I like Brad Hand. I think he's a very good closer. I think you might be able to get him on the cheap this year because last year was the first time he did it, and he's a lefty closer, and I think people don't trust him. I have no problem with him. I think he's a really good pitcher. Now, my only worry about Hands is will they have to use him in, more than one inning? I like him, though. I like Kirby Yates. I like Kazuhisa Makita. Remember, I love Japanese guys who come over, especially in the bullpen. You don't see them that often. They have very low numbers. The starting staff, the only guy that I'm really looking at, I'm not looking at Tyson Ross. I'm certainly not looking at Clayton Richard. I'm looking at Dinelson Lamet. Guy has an elite slider, throws hard, young, strikes out a ton of guys. This is a guy who can be an elite pitcher who you don't have to spend elite money on in terms of an auction or at your draft because people hate the team, right? They hate the team. They don't trust him. And they think that, he's not going to be great because he's only going to win 9 or 10 games. That may be true, but this guy could be an ace. He's got an ace ability. He has ace ability, right? He has ace ability. That's what I'm about. So will I take a shot on Tyson Ross? Maybe. Will I take a shot on Brian Mitchell? Sure. But Lamet, that's the one guy I'm going to spend money on. That's the one guy I'm willing to spend money on because I think he could be great. Don't spend money on blah. Spend a little money on good, but spend on if a guy can be great. I might be wrong. Fact is, I may be wrong. But I'm willing to take the shot on being right and being great. Because if Lamet hits, he will be great, and what more do I want? Right? I have myself an ace that I got probably in round 14. Dare to be great at your drafts. That's how you win. Understand? Dare to be great and make bold moves. Okay, couple of things. You've got to sign up for our MLB DFS product right now. Okay? It's at $99.95 for the season. The optimizer's included. So this is very important. I hate going on sites and you're like, oh, get our DFS information. Yeah, it's a $149 and our optimizer's $99. So for you, it's $239 for the year. Huh? Why do I want to pay extra for an optimizer? We are giving you the optimizer included. It is the best deal you can find anywhere. Fact. The optimizer alone is worth $99. Plus, so think of it that way. You're paying for the optimizer and you're getting every article free from Scout. Steve Renner, Jaguar Lou, Fuego Steve, guys who just win. So please, I implore you, sign up for our product. If you play MLB DFS, why spend elsewhere? And then I can't imagine why you would. The optimizer was so on fire for basketball this year. So on fire. And on fire for hockey. So please, it's a great product. And then lastly, for you guys out there who are members of ScoutFantasy.com, I need to tell you something, okay? We are not part of Scout Fantasy anymore. Scout Fantasy is owned by CBS. We are Scout Fantasy Sports. So if you go to Scout Fantasy right now and you go on that website and you see those articles and it has my name all over there, I'm not working for those guys. That's my old stuff before we moved. So they are duping you by making you think I'm there. I'm not there anymore. I'm at ScoutFantasySports.com. That's where my stuff is, with Adam Ronis and Sean Childs. And if you look at it and you go to that old Scout Fantasy, you don't see Ronis and Childs, do you? But on Scout Fantasy Sports, you do. You're being duped. So do me a favor, okay? Go to Scout Fantasy and cancel your membership because they are stealing your money. Then I want you to go to ScoutFantasySports.com, sign up, and be part of the Scout Army again. And if you do it by the end of this month, which I would hope you'd want to do because these guys are stealing your money, we'll give you a free gift. What more can I guys, this is not even a no-brainer. This is like literally somebody stealing from you. They're duping you by telling you that it's me. It's not. If it was me, I would tell you. You know if there's one thing I am in this world, it's honest about what I do. Right? I'm working at Scout Fantasy Sports. Come there, find me there. Let's do it together. All right, but it's time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Back with so much more. Got a lot to do. A week to go before opening day. This is Dr. Roto saying be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit ScoutFantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!